what's good, Commanders fans? Another video, man. I've just been making videos all day. This is the third video today. I guess like on Tuesday, since I know it's workout day. If I had the time, I would just stay alive for multiple hours, but of course I don't have the time. But we brought in a familiar face for a workout. This is per Nikki Javala, Boston Scott, who played with the Eagles. And then we brought in James Robinson for a workout too. So I like this a lot, man. I like this, guys. And I said in my previous video, I don't think they should be done with just bringing back Chris Rodriguez. And this tells us, kind of like them working out the two cornerbacks earlier, that B-Rob, they're being smart here. They're being prepared for B-Rob to be out for a period of time. And then Austin Eckler, with that concussion, they got to bring in more than just one guy. I do like Michael Wiley on the practice squad. I do like him. I do like Jeremy McNichols. I do like Chris Rodriguez. But, knock on wood, with the injuries that we've been having lately, you got to have another guy. And I feel like, maybe they have the room to sign both. I'm not sure if they have the room to sign both to the practice squad at least. But I feel like you need to have three backs on game day, because they would have B-Rob, Eckler, and Jeremy McNichols. Those three guys would be active on game day, because that was our identity. That was our identity running the football. So it could potentially be Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, and then Boston Scott as your scat back, as your third down back, your receiving back. And I would like that. Him in the screen game, I think he would actually give somewhat of I think he would give a legit spark. Like the catch that B-Rob dropped on that screenplay, I'm not saying that would have gone anywhere, but Boston Scott, in my opinion, is not dropping that. He's more suited to be a receiving back, a la Chris Thompson, a la J.D. McKissick, guys like that. People were bringing up these old names in my comments since we're going through these running back injuries at this point. But Boston Scott, man, he was good for the Eagles. He was good as a scat back for them in the third down back. I remember the game he had against the Giants where he had 3 touchdowns. I was just reading a write-up on him, and yeah, he was a punt returner as well. So I mean, if you want to use him as a punt returner rather than using Olamide Zaccheaus, another former Eagle, we know Brian Johnson, the quarterbacks coach, was there last year. Marcus Mariota was with the Eagles last year too. So maybe Brian Johnson put in a word for this, but I think this is a good workout, man, and I feel like they should sign him, and I feel like he should actually get some snaps on Sunday against the Titans, man. I really feel like he could help this team out, because McNichols is a good receiving back, but he's physical too, which I like that too. Chris Rodriguez is clearly more of the physical bruiser back, similar to B-Rob. And Chris Rodriguez does not have good hands from what I saw in the preseason and training camp. They said he dropped a couple passes here and there. But Boston Scott last year, he was just out of favor. They had Kenneth Gainwell. They had DeAndre Swift. So it looked like his snaps kind of went down. Played in 15 games, 0 starts. Had 20 carries for 86 yards in 2023. Also, he had, how many catches did he have? He only had 4 catches for 52 yards. So his production has really, really gone down the past 2 seasons. 54 carries for 217 yards in 2022. How many catches did he have? He had 5 catches for 15 yards. That's ridiculous. He definitely should have had more catches. So I know they had Kenneth Gainwell in 2022 and also Miles Sanders in 2022, but I feel like Boston Scott definitely should have been utilized more. And he played in 15 games and had 2 starts. He had 3 touchdowns. 2021 was where he had a really, really good year. He had 7 rushing touchdowns in 2021. And he had 87 carries for 373 yards, 4 yards per carry. He had 5 touchdowns in 2019, 5 rushing touchdowns. And then his best receiving season was 2020, where he had 25 carries for 212 yards. 2019, he had 25 catches for 212 yards and a touchdown. And then he had 24 catches for 204 yards receiving in 2019. So I'm intrigued with bringing Boston Scott in, man. I really am, man. I'm intrigued. They definitely should pen to paper and sign him. In the Giants game, he had 19 rushes for 54 yards and 3 touchdowns, and caught 4 passes for 84 yards during a 34-17 win for the Eagles against the Giants, where he had 3 touchdowns. He had a hat trick. He was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for that game against the Giants. He finished the 2019 season with 61 carries for 245 yards, 245 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns to go along with 24 catches for 204 yards. I already read about that. That was with Carson Wentz, I believe, too. Oh, no. In 2020, he made a game-winning touchdown catch on an 18-yard pass from Carson Wentz in a 2022 and a 22-21 win against the Giants, finishing with 92 total yards of offense. So he was legit the Giants killer. We're not going to play. We already swept the Giants and got them out of the way, but he was really, really, really good against the Giants for whatever reason. He was legit against. He even scored a touchdown in the playoffs against the Giants as well, and he scored a touchdown against the Niners too in the playoffs. That helped them get to the Super Bowl that year. So Boston Scott, I feel like he still has some left in the tank. How old is Boston Scott at this point? He's 29, so not bad. He's 5'6", man. He's small. He is small. So it's going to be hard to see him behind the line too. So you use him in some rushing situations for sure, and not just using him as a receiver. So he was a 6th-round pick, 201st pick. So there's not a lot to say because we're very familiar with Boston Scott. Obviously, him being an Eagle. I remember when we signed Wendell Smallwood a couple years ago too. It was like, yeah, we already know this guy basically. But in Boston Scott went to Louisiana Tech. So I'm intrigued, man. 4.4 40-yard dash, 38.5 vertical leap as well, 21 bench reps, 5'6", 195 pounds. So I really feel like he has some left in the tank there. So I would like to see him. He signed a one-year contract with the Rams, and he was released on August 25th. And he signed with the Steelers August 30th. He signed to the practice squad. And he was released on September 13th by the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so let's move on to James Robinson, man. James Robinson is a blast from the past for sure, man. He had a really, really good rookie year, man. His rookie year, he had 240 carries and 0 fumbles. He also had 1,414 total yards in 2020. That was the most by an undrafted rookie in NFL history. So he really came out the gate running, came out the gate on fire. So he went through some injuries, and then Urban Meyer came in as the Jaguars coach after like his second year, and kind of he benched him at one time. Yeah, he benched him for Carlos Hyde, and then they drafted Travis Etienne, and he had a couple injuries. They traded him to the Jets, I believe, for a 6th-round pick. But he was a top 100 player his rookie season. He was named to the PFWA All-Rookie team. Robinson was ranked 100th on the NFL Top 100 Players list. So, I mean, he had a really, really good start to his career. And I think he was an undrafted free agent as well. Yeah, I just said that he was a UDFA out of Illinois State, where he put up crazy numbers at Illinois State as well. But his rookie year, he had 1,070 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, 49 catches for 344 yards and 3 touchdowns receiving. He also had 8 touchdowns his sophomore year, 164 carries for 767 yards. And then 31 catches for 222 yards receiving. And then the numbers just went down. 2022, 110 carries for 425 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then he was traded to the Jets and had 2 receiving touchdowns in that 2022 season, 11 catches for 51 yards. And then it just went downhill. He signed with the Packers, played with the Packers in 1 game, had 1 carry for 2 yards and 1 catch for -2 yards, and then the rest is history after that. So I still feel like he has some left in the tank, man. He runs really, really, really hard. And not only that, he can catch out the backfield and break tackles. Like, he had 1 game where he had 77 yards after the catch versus Miami. This is back in 2020, so I get it. It's 4 years ago now. It's a while ago, but I still think there's some left in the tank. Maybe there's some juice to squeeze. I would still have Chris Rodriguez as your lead back. McNichols out there too, and then you would have Boston Scott to replace or to fill in for Austin Eckler as that change of pace, speedy out of the backfield. And he's a solid pass blocker too. He's solid in pass pro. Boston Scott plays hard. He really does. And if Olamide Zaccheaus fools around, you can put Boston Scott back there to return punts as well. But James Robinson, 40-inch vertical leap, which is super athletic, 4.6 40-yard dash. Not the fastest guy in the world. Had the 15th athleticism score test rank for the 2020 Combine as well. Draft projection was round 7 priority free agent, which he ended up being undrafted. Strengths gobbled up yardage and touchdowns as a 3-year starter. Coaches praise his low maintenance, blue collar work ethic, effective jump step, eludes early penetrators, anticipates run lane development, patience and vision to find daylight near end zone, rides behind lead blocks, cutting off of them at last second, balances through contact on an angle, excellent recognition to scan and find blitz. Will step up and lay it down in pass protection. That is his NFL draft write-up. That's James Robinson's NFL draft write-up. 5'9", 219 pounds. How old is he? He is 26 years old, man. So, I mean, goodness, like, he still has some left in the tank, man. He really does. Latavius Murray's another guy I was taking a look at that I thought we should have brought in for a workout, but I'm fine with this too. Yeah, so it didn't work out with the Jets. He was cut. He tore his ACL, cut his 2022 season short. Then he signed with the Patriots. And then he was released by the Patriots on June 12th. It was later reported that the team had concerns about his health, and the deal had contingencies should James Robinson fail a physical. Also, then he signed with the Giants on July 21st, 2023. Then he was released on August 27, 2023. So he was there for a short time. Then the Packers signed him to the practice squad. He was released on November 6th. Then the Saints signed him to their practice squad as well. And then they signed him to a reserve future contract on January 8th, 2024. On August 27, 2024, the Saints released James Robinson. So he was released on August 27, 2023. And then a year later, he was released again on August 27, 2024. So he's been through it, man. He's been through the wire for sure. And his career has certainly gone up and down for sure. I'm sorry, actually, he did have three fumbles in his rookie season. He had 4 fumbles his sophomore year. But yeah, I mean, if he can stay healthy, let's see what the guy's got. Let's see if he's got something left in the tank. But I would definitely sign Boston Scott as soon as possible, because Eckler's not playing this weekend. B-Rob's not playing this weekend, most likely. So they need to go on ahead and sign Boston Scott, because I'm fine with McNichols and Rodriguez being your 2 bruiser backs, your more physical backs that just can lean forward and move the chains. And then Boston Scott's your finesse guy that will come in on third down. I think Jaden will really use Boston Scott really well. He likes to use Eckler in that screen game, and same thing with Cliff using also Eckler as that scat back home run hitting guy in the screen game. I think Boston Scott would be really good in shifting the screen game. So definitely put pen to paper for Boston Scott. All right, you guys, as always, Health Commanders, peace.